Sit down, have your hot cocoa, and let me tell you the tale of the time when people believed that Amazon was going to buy EA. It was just not but Friday of last week. I can't keep doing this. Friday of last week. Basically, in the morning, I'd say around, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, about 7 or 8 Eastern.
Good luck, have fun. GLHF, part of USA Today's For the Win blog, put in a article basically stating that they had confirmation that Amazon was about to purchase Electronic Arts. There was no talk of how much. They said that announcement was forthcoming, and we should expect the announcement by the end of the day. Exciting news, right, Zero? I mean, that with all of acquisition talk and everything going on with Embracer Group, with Microsoft buying Activision, that's exciting, right? Yeah.
Especially with EA making talk for the last couple of months that they were trying to find a buyer and everything.
Yeah.
It was pretty much, okay, I guess the saga of EA looking for a buyer has been completed.
Right, and the rumored people that they were saying was going to purchase them was either going to be Amazon, Disney, or there was one other. Oh, I think it was Tencent was the other one. I might be wrong on Tencent, but there was a third one that I remember. But anyway, so this story didn't last for... Okay, this story lasted for about 20 minutes. And it ended in spectacular fashion when CNBC caught the story, brought in a analyst and reporter who was familiar with EA and Amazon, who basically went on air and said, "Nah, fam, this is stupid. this is not happening. There's no way." I have talked to people on both sides. Unless someone's doing it behind their backs, they're not doing it. It's not happening. This is what he called a Swedish meatball of a story, and said, "No, this isn't happening. Forget it." And sure enough, by the end of the day, nothing happened. We're talking about this for two reasons. Okay, one is basically an analyzation of how it got started, how it ended, and how everyone reacted to the story. And two, what eventually is the aftermath, which is the final piece of this, what happened today. And I'll get to the second piece now. Basically, it took a few days for USA Today to go onto the article that it was posted and excoriate GLHF by basically saying that this violated our standards for sources and quotes, essentially. I forget what the actual terminology they use.
Sources and quotes from an anonymous tipster or something to that effect.
So, yeah. Basically what that means is they made this up, essentially. Or either that, or they believe somebody who had next to no knowledge of the situation and made the story about it. And we'll discuss why possibly USA Today did that, aside from except for taking a reputational damage. But Zero, what do you think of the whole saga of the fake saga of EA being bought by Amazon?
It was one hell of a fireball, just because I remember seeing just this story pop up in my news feeds when I was waking up to start my day and everything. I was just like, really? Well, that could possibly happen, but there would just be so many legal complications, especially with EA doing a couple Star Wars games here and there. Just there's so many legal implications, and with Amazon being not only a web services company but an entertainment company now, with producing their own TV shows and stuff. Yeah, this just seems like a legal minefield. But I've seen stranger shit before, and then of course the CNBC broadcaster bringing in one of the financial specialists who was very familiar with both EA and Amazon, and pretty much just saying, "Yeah, this is bunk and this is complete bullshit." And then at the same time that this is happening, the stock price on EA is just tanking at the same time, and it's just like, ooh, it looks like somebody may have tried to prop this to do a pump and dump. Ooh.
Yep, essentially. And
so yeah, and just seeing all that happen, I was just like, ooh, this the fallout from this should be real interesting. And then of course by the end of the day, just was like, oh yeah, this wasn't a thing, and it was just like, oh, either someone's gonna get fired, or someone's really gonna be in for it. It was the first thought I had in my head.
This is an interesting story in many aspects. You talked about the financial side, where it kind of, and I think you are kind of right on that it seemed like a possible pump and dump scheme, where someone probably bought a bunch of Amazon stock, or I think it was EA stock, right? They bought a bunch of EA stock, and as the story went out, it climbed up and up and up and up and up, where someone would then say, okay, time to cash in, get a quick cash in, and they made hundreds of thousands to maybe millions of dollars on that before it tanked. This is also a journalistic story, because and it points out to one thing which I'm actually, I gotta give credit, because I do give a lot of shit to a lot of outlets for doing this, and it seems like not a lot of outlets did this until they waited, but they waited to see what happened instead of just posting the story. Most in previous situations, they would just post a story, rumor this is what's happening, or analyst confirms that this is happening, and that didn't happen this time, which to me is good, because it makes it sound like that these people are actually learning something and saying, hey, we need to stop doing this, so let's work our sources before we do the story. I think it was Jason Schreier who was the first one that said, like, was basically saying, I'm waiting on information on this before I say a damn thing. And sure enough, after he said that, is when the analyst on CNBC pretty much said, yeah, this is bunk. Forget it. This is not happening. So that's the journalistic story. There is the story basically of USA Today pretty much throwing their, I guess it's a Good Luck Have Fun is one of their partners. They basically threw them under the bus, basically saying, yeah, you guys screwed up big time here. So we're not taking the reputational hit, you are. So good on them, I would say. I would love to hear more about this, because I think there's more to this story than we're going to be told on this. So, because USA Today not only had to do this for reputational damage purposes, but also financial legal purposes. Because at this point, they were the only ones who had the story, and the story was big enough to, like you mentioned, climb the price stock up. And then when it turned out to be absolute bunk, the price went way down afterwards. So that could cause a whole bunch of legal problems for them. So they had to do it to that extent as well. So yeah, this was a fascinating story. I remember when we discussed it on our Discord, we were more interested in the ramifications, because I mentioned the whole Star Wars thing. It's like, there's no way that Disney will want to work with EA if they're working for Amazon now. I mean, some disagreed with that, thinking, oh, they're two different businesses altogether. It's like, not really, but okay. But we didn't really even get, this went by so fast, we didn't really get into the conversation of whether this was real or not. That's how fast this was. So, yeah, interesting story. I would say that happened.
I think it's just really funny in this age of just where information just flies so fast on services like Twitter and everything, that, you know, just sometimes it's not a good idea to believe everything
No.
you see on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just one of those things that I've bemoaned for ages, that, people are so quick to just jump on whatever thing they hear on the internet, um and I've railed many a time about it. But yeah, just to see something kind of happen just and unfold in real time, it was kind of amazing to see just what a dumpster fire this was.
I will reiterate again. It seems like most websites stood back to make sure what the story was and if this was happening, and that paid off for them because they didn't all look like fools when it came out that this was false. So I will give them credit for that. Although honestly, that's pretty much saying to somebody, "Hey, don't punch that person. Good boy." That's essentially what the good job was. Basically, doing something you shouldn't be doing anyway. But since the gaming and the gaming press tends to fall for that almost every single time, I feel like I need to give them a pat on the back on that.